Hello again, folks. Did I mention that I really hate democracy? I'd like to just rant for a little bit today about democracy and how much I hate it. Democracy, de facto, will always result in matriarchies. Women just make up 52% of the population across the board. That's just how it works. That's how we're developed. That's what human beings are. That's how it's going to be. And there's nothing you can really do about it. 52% of your population are going to be more emotional than rational. 52% of your population are going to vote for the invaders to come in and ravage them, and there's nothing you can do about it. 52% of the population are going to, vote for something and then wonder why in God's name are these consequences impacting them. Like, what do you mean? Why are you busing the illegals from Texas to my, nice, dainty suburb? What's with these stabbing attacks? What's with Molly Tibbers, crying out as some illegal literally guts her in the freaking cornfield somewhere? Why is all this happening? I didn't vote for this. I'm not a racist. It's just blows my mind. Like, the wokeism and the anti-white behavior, just blows my hecking mind. But I hate democracy. It will invariably devolve into a matriarchy. And a matriarchy is the end stage of democracy, and the final destruction of any civilization is when it reverts to a matriarchy. And when people let women take control of society is done for. Not just on a physical level, but on a spiritual level, society is done for. And I'm not talking spiritual like Jesus Christ. I'm talking spiritual as in the spirit of the nation, as in the blood of the people has been polluted at that point too much to where it can no longer build a society. And that's a sad but true reality of just what humans are capable of and what sort of illogical shenanigans are going to go on. And that's happening here, and, I, for one, say let it. Like, there are ways you can take advantage of this, right? Because in the future, women are going to generate the majority of the taxes, right? So that means you need to be the welfare baby. Like, have the single mothers be working 2 jobs to be able to pay for your tendies. Like, that's the only way to proceed forward in the clown world, is just to honk as loud as humanly possible. So if you can, stop contributing to this system. Your votes don't matter anyways. Dominion's going to count them however they want to, allegedly. And so, we can talk about all of the different sort of shenanigans that were happening, like, ballot machines in Arizona that accidentally were misreading 7,000 ballots a freaking day, and all of this horrible thing in every single county, obviously, and all of the atrocities that were going out. And we can go through it, but it's so tiresome at this point. Like, everyone knows it's garbage and voting doesn't do anything. Everyone knows that, we live under this oppressive matriarchy, and that, so much as a cry from a woman is going to get your, prenuptial nullified. It's going to get you thrown in jail for 30 years for, consensual sex that 30 years later she decided was actually not consensual for some reason. We know all this is going to happen, and we know this is the reality. So at the end of the day, be a good boy and get your tendies. All you can really do against a society that's gone this far is to simply just retreat and try and start a new, society in its ashes. Like, things have gone way too far. Democracy is a shamble, and hopefully the next system we come up with or we build is a lot better. I could use some, right-wing authoritarianism right about now. I don't know about you, but I could definitely use something like that just to set the record straight, do a little cleansing fire as far as I'm concerned. But is that going to happen? Who knows? We could get some, left-wing cleansing fire. We could get the left-wing authoritarianism. They're in control currently, right? And when the chips are down, who actually knows who wins? Because that's when it gets way too complicated to predict. Like, the societal destruction is going to result in a whole bunch of different factions all going to war. Just like a civil war would, it's going to have the same sort of, like, look and aesthetic to it. And it's going to basically be something like that. So trying to progress and understand what's going to happen with all this is simply beyond anyone's real ability to, piece it all together. But what we can say is that no matter what, it will be different than what is currently available, and that'll probably be a plus, no matter which way it goes. Like, if you think this matriarchy stuff is going to stick around when Stalin gets in power here, just look at Mother Russia, just look at, China for all of that and what's happened there as far as, women's empowerment and how it's gone. The liberation ends really fast once the big strong men get into power, interestingly enough, but, at the end of the day, like, just take advantage of the times and where they're going and use it to your advantage, and that's the only thing you really can do is get your government gibs, get, either that or get or work and get into a position to retire and just watch it all burn. Like, democracy will inevitably always fall in the same silly fashion, and the issue is giving 52% of the population the vote. And, like, it's so awful because women are not subject to being drafted, Women don't have to suffer the consequences for their actions when they vote in the warmongering Biden, right? Like what happened with our previous election, when they vote in that warmonger, and he's like, on the brink of getting into a nuclear war with Russia and sending our young boys to go get slaughtered by the meat grinder in some Siberian shithole, right? The women aren't getting drafted for that, not currently. And not only that, but that was like the primary argument against, universal suffrage back in the day, was the fact that we don't draft women. And, originally in the U.S. Constitution, it was wealthy landowners that got to vote. And while I still don't like that, that's, slightly better than, having to trade your, personal choice in serving in case your government needs you for the ability to have Dominion miscount your vote, or something awful like that. So, the reality is, it's like, you've signed before you were even born, like 200 years before you were even born, you signed away your right to be able to, live your life without going to war, so that Dominion could rob you of it, and then, women could vote for you to go and randomly get, suicided by, like, some Epstein Island visiting warlord, right, that also wears a dress. It's just... And yeah, obviously, if you're of drafting age, dodge it somehow. Like, I don't care what you have to do, don't fight for this Western garbage global homo crap. Like, do not do anything. Let the women defend it, They started this. Ugh.